ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Namaste my dear friends. This is 14th video on Talks with Ramana Maharshi. I start this video from talk means are adopted for making it to do so. Breath control makes the mind quiescent. The mind must be alert and meditation pursued unremittingly even when it is at peace. Then it sinks into the heart, or the floating body might be loaded with weights and made to sink. So also association with the wise will make the mind sink into the heart. Such association is both mental and physical. The extremely visible being of the Guru pushes the mind inward. He is also in the heart of the seeker, and so he draws the latter's inward bent mind into the heart. This question is asked only when the man begins to meditate and finds it difficult. Let him practice breath control just a little and the mind will be purified. It does not now sink into the heart because the latent tendencies stand as obstacles. They are removed by breath control or association with the wise. In fact, the mind is always in the heart, but it is restive and moves about on account of latent tendencies. When the tendencies are made ineffective, it will be restful and at peace. By breath control, the mind will be only temporarily quiescent because the tendencies are still there. If the mind is transformed into the self, it will no longer give trouble. That is done by meditation. Talk 224. A disciple asked how he could recognize his own natural primal condition. Maharashi: absolute freedom from the thoughts is the state conducive to such recognition. From the attendance notes. Talk number 225. When Sri Bhagavan and Ranga Swami, an attendant, were on the rocks, Bhagavan noticed someone in the ashramam rocking in a rocking chair and remarked to the attendant, Shiva made all over his own possessions to Vishnu and wandered away in the forest and wilderness and cemeteries and lived on food begged by him. In his view, non-possession is higher in the scale of happiness than possession of things. Devotee: what is that higher happiness? Mercy: to be free from anxieties. Possessions create anxieties such as their safeguarding, their utilization, etc. Non-possession does not bring any anxiety in its train. Therefore, Shiva resigned everything in favor of Vishnu and he himself went away happy. Divestment of possession is the highest happiness. Talk number 226. A visitor from Tirukellur asked if the study of the sacred books will reveal the truth. Mercy: that will not suffice. Devotee: why not? Mercy: Samadhi alone can reveal it. Thoughts cast a veil over reality, and so it cannot be clear in states other than Samadhi. Devotee: is there thought in Samadhi or is there not? Mercy: there will only be the feeling I am and no other thoughts. Devotee: is not I am a thought? Mercy: the egoless I am is not thought, it is realization. The meaning or significance of I is God. The experience of I am is to be still, 4th July 1936, talk number 227. The master observed, being of the nature of bliss, why does one continue to crave for happiness? To be rid of that craving is itself salvation. The scriptures say you are that. The imparting of that knowledge is their purpose. The realization must be by your finding out what lies within himself and not without. As Bhagavan was descending the hill, one of the workers just outside the ashramam stopped work and was about to prostrate before the master. Then the master said, to engage in your duty is the true prostration. The master's attendant asked how. Mercy service to God. Then smiling he entered the hall. Talk number 228. At lunch, a visitor from Nellore asked the master for a tiny bit of food, prasad, from his dish. Maharashi, eat without thinking of the ego, then what you eat becomes Bhagavan's prasad. After lunch, the master continued humorously, if I had given you one morsel from my plate, each one would ask for a morsel too. What will be left for me if I distribute the whole plate to others? So, you see that it is not devotion. There is no significance in eating a morsel from my plate. Be a true devotee. 8th July 1936, talk number 229. At 8 a.m., the pet squirrel was watching for an opportunity to run out. The master remarked, all wish to rush out. There is no limit to going out. Happiness lies within and not without. 20th July 1936, talk number 230. A visitor. Can one realize the truth by learning the scriptures and study of books? Maharashi, no. So long as predispositions remain latent in the mind, realization cannot be achieved. Shastra learning is itself a vasana. Realization is only in samadhi. Talk 231. A visitor asked, what is mauna? Silence. Maharashi, mauna is not closing the mouth, it is eternal speech. Devotee, I do not understand. Maharashi, Maharashi, that state which transcends speech and thought is mauna. Devotee, how to achieve it? Maharashi, hold some concept firmly and trace it back. By such concentration, silence results. When practice becomes natural, it will end in silence. Meditation without mental activity is silence. Subjugation of the mind is meditation. Deep meditation is eternal speech. Devotee, how will worldly transaction go on if one observes silence? Mercy, when women walk with water pots on their heads and chat with their companions, they remain very careful. Their thoughts concentrated on the loads on their heads. Similarly, when a sage engages in activities, these do not disturb him because his mind abides in Brahma. Talk number 232. The master said on another occasion, only the sage is a true devotee. Talk number 233. Devotee, what is the result of Rama Japa, repetition of God Rama's name? Mercy, Ra is a reality, Ma is the mind. Their union is the fruit of Rama Japa. Utterance of words is not enough. The elimination of thoughts is wisdom. It is the absolute existence. Talk number 234. A Muslim visitor asked about asana, physical posture. Mercy, abidance in God is the only true posture. Talk number 235. Mr. T.K.S. Iyer, a disciple, was excited because someone in the town had spoken disparagingly of the master. He did not retort and came away excited. So he asked master what penalty should be paid for his failure to defend him. Mercy, patience, more patience, tolerance, more tolerance. Mercy. Talk number 236. On the death of King George V, two devotees were discussing the matter in the hall. They were very upset. The master said to them, "Whoever dies or is lost, what is that to you? Die yourself and lose yourself, becoming one with love." Talk number 237. A man brought with him a silver idol of Subramanya and copper idols of Wali and Devyani. He said to Sri Bhagavan, "I have been worshipping them for the last 10 years, but have been rewarded only with calamities. What shall I do with them? When I ask others, they attribute my worries to some fault in the makeup of the idols. For instance, the difference in the metals of their make. Is it so? Mercy, did they say that it was wrong to worship?" Talk number 238. In answer to some question, Maharashi said, "There is a state when words cease and silence prevails." Devotee, how to communicate thought to each other? Maharashi, that is only when there is the notion of two. Devotee, how to get peace? Maharashi, that is the natural state. The mind obstructs the innate peace. Our investigation is only in the mind. Investigate the mind, it will disappear. There is no entity by name mind. Because of the emergence of thoughts, we surmise something from which they start. That we term mind. When we probe to see what it is, there is nothing like it. After it has vanished, peace will be found to remain eternal. Devotee, what is buddhi, intellect? Mercy, the thinking or discriminating faculty. These are mere names. Be it the ego, the mind, or the intellect, it is all the same. Whose mind, whose intellect? The ego's. Is the ego real? No. We confound the ego and call it intellect or mind. Devotee, Emerson says the soul answers soul by itself, not by description. Maharashi, see what the self is. What you consider to be the self is really either the mind or the intellect or the I thought. The other thoughts arise only after the I thought. So hold on to it. The others will vanish, leaving the self as the residuum. Devotee, the difficulty lies in reaching it. Mercy, there is no reaching it at all because it is eternal, here and now. If the self were to be gained anew, it would not be permanent. Devotee, how to obtain equanimity or peace or equilibrium of mind? What is the best way? Mercy, I have already answered it. Investigate the mind. It is eliminated and remain over. Let your standpoint become that of wisdom, then the world will be found to be God. Drishtin janmayam kritva pasyat brahmayam jagat. So the question is one of the outlook. You pervade all, see yourself and all are understood. But you have now lost hold of yourself and go about doubting other things. Devotee, how to know the self? Mercy, are there two eyes? How do you know your own existence? Do you see yourself with these eyes? Question yourself. How does this question arise? Do I remain to ask it or not? Can I find myself as in a mirror? Because your outlook has been outward bent, it has lost sight of the self, and your vision is external. The self is not found in external objects. Turn your look within and plunge down. You will be the self. Devotee, is discovery of the self dependent on the observance of caste rules, or should we flout them? Mercy, not in the beginning. Observe them to start with. Caste rules serve as a check on the vagaries of the mind. Will the mind find itself? The mind cannot seek the mind. You have ignored what is real and are holding on to the mind which is unreal and also trying to find what it is. Was there mind in your sleep? It was not. It is now here. It is therefore impermanent. Can the mind be found by you? The mind is not you. You think you are the mind and therefore ask me how it is checked. If it is there, it can be checked, but it is not. Understand this truth by search. Search for unreality is fruitless. Therefore seek the reality. That is the self. That is the way to rule over the mind. There is only one thing real. Devotee, what is the one real thing? Maharashi, that is what is. The others are only appearances. Diversity is not its nature. We are reading the printed characters on paper but ignore the paper which is the background. Similarly, you are taken up by the manifestations of the mind and any new appearances are bound to disappear. Anything created will certainly be destroyed. The eternal is not born nor does it die. We are now confounding appearances with reality. Appearance carries its end in itself. What is it that appears newly? If you cannot find it, surrender to the substratum of appearances unreservedly, then the reality will be left over as the residue. Devotee, what happens to the man after death? Mercy, engage yourself in the living present. The future will take care of itself. Do not worry about the future. The state before creation and the process of creation are dealt within the scriptures in order that you may know the present. Because you say you are born, therefore they say yes, and add that God came as you were in sleep. You are not different from that one in sleep. But why should there be difference in the feelings or experiences of the two states? Did you ask while asleep the question regarding your birth, or where do I go after death? Why think of all these now in the wakeful state? Let what is born think of its birth and the remedy, its cause and ultimate result. What is birth? Is it of the I thought or of the body? Is I separate from the body or identical with it? How did this I thought arise? Is the I thought your nature or is anything else of your nature? Devotee, who is to ask these questions? Maharashi, exactly, that is it. There is no end to it all. Devotee, are we then to keep quiet? Maharashi, doubts cease to afflict when the confusion moha is surpassed. Devotee, your statements amount to cessation of vichara, investigation. Maharashi, if Atam vichara, self-investigation ceases, loka vichara, world investigation takes its place. Laughter in the hall. Engage in self-investigation, then the non-self will disappear. The self will be left over. This is self-investigation of the self. The one word self is equivalent to the mind, body, man, individual, the supreme and all else. Talk 239. Mr. M. Friedman. One imagines things and enjoys them by strength of imagination. Such creations are possible to Brahma, the creator. Can the same statement apply to his creature, man? Mercy, this is also your thought. Devotee, Krishnamurti says that man should find out the I, then I dissolves away being only a bundle of circumstances. There is nothing behind the I. His teaching seems to be very much like Buddha's. Mercy, yes, beyond expression. Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi, Volume 2, 23rd August 1936, talk number 240. Devotee, the world is materialistic. What is the remedy for it? Maharshi, materialistic or spiritual, it is according to your outlook. Drishtim jnanamayam kritva brahmamayam pasyate jagat. Make your outlook right. The Creator knows how to take care of His creation. Devotee, what is the best thing to do for ensuring the future? Mercy, take care of the present. The future will take care of itself. Devotee, the future is the result of the present. So, what should I do to make it good, or should I keep still? Maharishi, whose is the doubt? Who is it that wants a course of action? Find the doubter. If you hold the doubter, the doubts will disappear. Having lost hold of the self, the thoughts afflict you. The world is seen, doubts arise, also anxiety for the future. Hold fast to the self, these will disappear. Devotee, how to do it? Maharshi, this question is relevant to matters of non-self, but not to the self. Do you doubt the existence of your own self? Devotee, no, but still I want to know how the self could be realized. Is there any method leading to it? Maharshi, make effort. Just as water is got by boring a well, so also you realize the self by investigation. Devotee, yes, but some find water readily and others with difficulty. Maharshi, but you already see the moisture on the surface. You are hazily aware of the self, pursue it. When the effort ceases, the self shines forth. Devotee, how to train the mind to look within? Mercy, by practice, the mind is the intelligent phase leading to its own destruction for self to manifest. Devotee, how to destroy the mind? Maharshi, water cannot be made by dry water. Seek the self, the mind will be destroyed. 29th August 1936, talk number 241. Devotee, how to avoid misery? Maharshi, has misery a shape? Misery is only unwanted thought. The mind is not strong enough to resist it. Devotee, how to gain such strength of mind? Maharshi, by worship of God. Devotee, meditation of the God of immanence is hard to understand. Maharshi, leave God alone, hold yourself. Devotee, how to do japa, repetition of mantras? Maharshi, it is of two kinds, gross and subtle. The latter is meditation on it, and it gives strength to the mind. But the mind does not get steady for meditation. Mercy, it is due to lack of strength. Devotee, Sandhya is usually done mechanically. Similarly, other religious duty. Is it useful? Is it not better to do japa, etc., knowing their meanings? Mercy, Talk number 242. A Gujarati gentleman asked Sri Bhagavan, they say that choice is offered to us to enjoy merits or demerits after our death. Their succession will be according to our choice. Is it so? Mercy, why raise these questions relating to events after death? Why ask, was I born? Am I reaping fruits of my past karma, and so on? They will not be raised some time hence when you fall asleep. Why? Are you now different from the one in sleep? You are not. Why do these questions arise now and not in sleep? Find out. Talk number 243. A middle-aged, weak-looking man came with a walking stick in his hand, placed it before Bhagavan, bowed low and sat near Maharashi. He got up and with great humility offered the stick to Bhagavan, saying that it was sandalwood. Sri Bhagavan told him to keep it for himself because nothing of Bhagavan's can be safeguarded. Being common property but coveted by some, it will be taken away by any visitor with or without Bhagavan's permission. Then the donor may be displeased. But the man still humbly insisted. Sri Bhagavan could not resist his supplications and said, "Keep it yourself as prasad from Bhagavan." The man then requested that the stick might first be taken and then given to him by Sri Bhagavan with blessings. Sri Bhagavan received it, smelled it, said it was fine, nodded and handed it back to the man, saying, "Keep it, it will make you always remember me." Talk number 244. A Maharani Sahiba spoke in a gentle and low voice but quite audibly. Devotee. Maharaj Ji, I have the good fortune to see you. My eyes have had the pleasure of seeing you. My ears the pleasure of hearing your voice. I am blessed with everything that a human being would like to have. Her Highness's voice choked. With great strength of mind she rallied and proceeded slowly. I have all that I want a human being would want, but I do not have peace of mind. Something prevents it. Probably my destiny. There was silence for a few minutes. Then Maharashi in his usual sweet manner spoke. Maharashi, all right. What need be said has been said. Well, what is destiny? There is no destiny. Surrender and all will be well. Throw all the responsibility on God. Do not bear the burden yourself. What can destiny do to you then? Devotee, surrender is impossible. Mercy, yes, complete surrender is impossible in the beginning. Partial surrender is certainly possible for all. In course of time that will lead to complete surrender. Well, if surrender is impossible, what can be done? There is no peace of mind. You are helpless to bring it about. It can be done only by surrender. Devotee, partial surrender, well, can it undo destiny? Mercy, oh yes, it can. Devotee, is not a destiny due to past karma? Maharashi, if one is surrendered to God, God will look to it. Devotee, this being God's dispensation, how does God undo it? Maharashi, all are in Him only. Devotee, how is God to be seen? Maharashi, within. If the mind is turned inward, God manifests as inner consciousness. Devotee, God is in all the objects we see around us. They say we should see God in all of them. Maharashi, God is in all and in the seer. Where else can God be seen? He cannot be found outside. He should be felt within. To see the objects, mind is necessary. To conceive God in them is a mental operation. But that is not real. The consciousness within, purged of the mind, is felt as God. Devotee, there are say beautiful colors. It is a pleasure to watch them. We can see God in them. Maharashi, they are all mental conceptions. Devotee, there are more than colors. I mentioned colors only as an example. Maharashi, they are also similarly mental. Devotee, there is the body also, the senses and the mind. The soul makes use of all these for knowing things. Maharashi, the objects or feelings or thoughts are all mental conceptions. The mind rises after the rise of the I thought or the ego. Wherefrom does the ego rise? From the abstract consciousness or pure intelligence? Devotee. Is it the soul? Mercy. Soul, mind or ego are mere words. These are no entities of the kind. Consciousness is the only truth. Devotee. Then that consciousness cannot give any pleasure. Mercy. Its nature is bliss. Bliss alone is. There is no enjoyer to enjoy pleasure. Enjoyer and enjoy both merge in it. Devotee. There are pleasure and pain in ordinary life. Should we not remain with only pleasure? Maharashi. Pleasure consists in turning and keeping the mind within, pain in sending it outward. There is only pleasure. Absence of pleasure is called pain. One's nature is pleasure, bliss, ananda. Devotee, is it the soul? Mercy. Soul and God are only mental conceptions. Devotee, is God only a mental conception? Mercy. Yes. Do you think of God in sleep? Devotee, but sleep is a state of dullness. Mercy. If God be real, He must remain always. You remain in sleep and in wakefulness, just the same. If God be as true as yourself, God must be in sleep as well as the self. This thought of God arises only in the wakeful state. Who thinks now? Devotee, I think. Mercy. Who is this I? Who says it? Is it the body? Devotee. The body speaks. Mercy. The body does not speak. If so, did it speak in sleep? Who is this I? Devotee. I within the body. Mercy. Are you within the body or without? Devotee. I am certainly within the body. Mercy. Do you know it to be so in your sleep? Devotee, I remain in my body in sleep also. Mercy, are you aware of being within the body in sleep? Devotee, sleep is a state of dullness. Maharashi, the fact is, you are neither within nor without. Sleep is the natural state of being. Devotee, then sleep must be a better state than this. Maharashi, there is no superior or inferior state. In sleep, in dream, and in the wakeful state, you are just the same. Sleep is a state of happiness. There is no misery. The sense of want, of pain, etc. arises only in the wakeful state. What is the change that has taken place? You are the same in both, but there is difference in happiness. Why? Because the mind has risen now. This mind rises after the I thought. The thought arises from consciousness. If one abides in it, one is always happy. Devotee, the sleep state is the state when the mind is quiet. I consider it a worse state. Maharashi, if that were so, why do all the desire sleep? Why do all desire sleep? Devotee, it is the body when tired that goes to sleep. Maharashi, does the body sleep? Devotee, yes, it is the condition in which the wear and tear of the body is repaired. Maharashi, let it be so. But does the body itself sleep or wake up? You yourself said shortly before that the mind is quite in sleep. The three states are of the mind. Devotee, are they not states of the soul functioning through the senses, etc.? Mercy, they are not of the soul or of the body. The soul remains always uncontaminated. It is the substratum running through all these three states. Wakefulness passes of I am, the dream state passes of I am, the sleep states possess of I am. They repeat themselves and yet I am. They are like pictures moving on the screen in a cinema, so they do not affect the screen. Similarly also, I remain unaffected although these states pass off. If it is of the body, are you aware of the body in sleep? Devotee, no. Maharishi, without knowing the body to be there, how can the body be said to be in sleep? Devotee, because it is still found after waking up. Maharishi, the sense of body is a thought. The thought is of the mind. The mind rises after the I thought. The I thought is the root thought. If that is held, the other thoughts will disappear. There will then be no body, no mind, not in the ego. Devotee, what will remain then? Maharishi, the self in its purity. Devotee, how can the mind be made to vanish? Maharishi, no attempt is made to destroy it. To think or wish it, it is itself a thought. If the thinker is sought, the thoughts will disappear. Devotee, will they disappear of themselves? It looks so difficult. Maharishi, they will disappear because they are unreal. The idea of difficulty is itself an obstacle to realization. It must be overcome. To remain as the self is not difficult. Devotee, it looks easy to think of God in the external world, whereas it looks difficult to remain without thoughts. Maharishi, that is absurd. To look at other things is easy and to look within is difficult. It must be contrary-wise. Devotee, but I do not understand. It is difficult. Maharishi, this thought of difficulty is the chief obstacle. A little practice will make you think differently. Devotee, what is the practice? Maharishi, to find out the source of I. Devotee, that was the state before one's birth. Maharishi, why should one think of birth and death? Are you really born? The rising of the mind is called birth. After mind, the body thought rises and the body is seen. Then the thought of birth, the state before birth, death, the state after death, all these are only of the mind. Whose is the birth? Devotee, am I not now born? Maharishi, so long as the body is considered, birth is real, but the body is not I. The self is not born, nor does it die. There is nothing new. The sages see everything in and of the self. There is no diversity in it. Therefore, there is neither birth nor death. Devotee, if sleep be such a good state, why does not one like to be always in it? Maharishi, one is always only in sleep. The present waking state is no more than a dream. Dream can take place only in sleep. Sleep is underlying these three states. Manifestation of these three states is again a dream, which is in its turn another sleep. In this way, these states of dream and sleep are endless. Similar to these states, birth and death also are dreams in a sleep. Really speaking, there are no birth and death. 8th September 1936, talk number 245. Mrs. Gulabi and Shrinbai Bairamji, two Parsi ladies, were asking questions around one central point. All their questions amounted to one. I understand that the self is beyond the ego. My knowledge is theoretical and not practical. How shall I gain practical realization of the self? Maharishi, realization is nothing to be got afresh. It is already there. All that is necessary is to be rid of the thought, I have not realized. Devotee, then one need not attempt it. Maharishi, no stillness of mind or peace is realization. There is no moment when the self is not. So long as there is doubt or the feeling of non-realization, Attempt must be made to rid oneself of these thoughts. The thoughts are due to identification of the self with the non-self. When the non-self disappears, the self alone remains. To make room anywhere, it is enough that things are removed from there. Room is not brought in afresh. Nay, more room is there in cramping. Absence of thoughts does not mean a blank. There must be one to know the blank. Knowledge and ignorance are of the mind. They are born of duality, but the self is beyond knowledge and ignorance. It is light itself. There is no necessity to see the self with another self. There are no two selves. What is not self is not self. The non-self cannot see the self. The self has no sight or hearing. It lies beyond these, all alone as pure consciousness. A woman with her necklace round her neck imagines that it has been lost and goes about searching for it. Until she is reminded of it by a friend, she has created her own sense of loss, her own anxiety of search, and then her own pleasure of recovery. Similarly, the self is all along there, whether you search for it or not. Again, just as the woman feels as if the lost necklace has been regained, so also the removal of ignorance and the cessation of false identification reveal the self which is always present, here and now. This is called realization. It is not new. It amounts to elimination of ignorance and nothing more. Blankness is the evil result of searching the mind. The mind must be cut off, root and branch. See who the thinker is, who the seeker is. Abide as the thinker, the seeker, all thoughts will disappear. Devotee, then there will be the ego, the thinker. Mercy. That ego is pure ego, purged of thoughts. It is the same as the self. So long as false identification persists, doubts will persist. Questions will arise. There will be no end of them. Doubts will cease only when the non-self is put an end to. That will result in a realization of the self. There will remain no other there to doubt or ask. All these doubts should be solved within oneself. No amount of words will satisfy. Hold the thinker. Only when the thinker is not held do objects appear outside or doubts arise in the mind. Talk number 246. Language is only a medium for communicating one's thoughts to another. It is called in only after thoughts arise. Other thoughts arise after the I thought arises. And I thought is the root of all conversation. When one remains without thinking, one understands another by means of the universal language of silence. Silence is ever speaking. It is a perennial flow of language. It is interrupted by speaking. These words obstruct that mute language. There is electricity flowing in a wire. With resistance to its passage, it glows as a lamp or revolves as a fan. Revolves as a fan. In the wire, it remains as electric energy. Similarly, also, silence is the eternal flow of language obstructed by words. What one fails to know by conversation extending to several years can be known in a trice in silence or in front of silence. For example, Dakshinamurti and his 4 disciples. That is the highest and most effective language. Talk number 247. There arose a doubt. If I consciousness be the same as nirvikalpa samadhi or anything interior to it. Sri Bhagavan said that the tiny hole in the heart remains always closed, but it is opened by vichara, with the result that I consciousness shines forth. It is the same as samadhi. Devotee, what is the difference between fainting and sleep? Mercy, sleep is sudden and overpowers the person forcibly. A faint is slower and there is a tingle of resistance kept up. Realization is possible in a faint and impossible in sleep. Devotee, what is the state just before death? Mercy, when a person gasps for breath, it indicates that the person is unconscious of this body. Another body has been held and the person swings to and fro. While gasping, there is a more violent gasp at intervals, and that indicates the oscillation between the two bodies due to the present attachment not having been completely snapped. I noticed it in the case of my mother and of Palani Swami. Devotee, does the new body involved in that state represent the next reincarnation of the person? Mercy, yes. While gasping, the person is in something like a dream, not aware of the present environment. It must be remembered that Sri Bhagavan had been with his mother from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. until she passed away. He was all along holding her head with one hand, the other hand placed on her bosom. What does it signify? He himself said later that there was a struggle between himself and his mother until her spirit reached the heart. Evidently, the soul passes through a series of subtle experiences, and Sri Bhagavan's touch generates a current which turns the soul back from its wandering into the heart. The sanskaras, however, persist, and a struggle is kept up between the spiritual force set by his touch and the innate sanskaras until the latter are entirely destroyed and the soul is led into the heart to rest in eternal peace, which is the same as liberation. Its entry into the heart is signified by a peculiar sensation perceptible to the Mahatma, similar to tinkling of a bell. When Maharishi attended on Palani Swami on his deathbed, he took away his hand after the above signal, but Palani Swami's eyes opened immediately, signifying that the spirit had escaped through them, thereby indicating a higher rebirth but not liberation. Having once noticed it with Palani Swami, Maharishi continued touching his mother for a few minutes longer, even after the signal of the soul passing into the heart, and thus ensured her liberation. This was confirmed by the look of perfect peace and composure on her features. 15th September 1936, talk number 248. Sri Bhagavan said, the Jnani says, I am the body. The Ajnani says, I am the body. What is the difference? I am is the truth. The body is the limitation. The Ajnani limits this I to the body. I remains independent of the body in sleep. The same I is now in the wakeful state. Though imagined to be within the body, I is without the body. The wrong notion is not I am the body, I says so. The body is insentient and cannot say so. The mistake lies in thinking that I is what I is not. I is not insentient. I cannot be the inert body. The body's movements are confounded with I, and misery is the result. Whether the body works or not, I remains free and happy. The Ajnani's I is the body only. That is the whole error. The Jnani's I includes the body and everything else. Clearly, some intermediate entity arises and gives rise to the confusion. Mr. Vaidyanath Iyer, a lawyer, asked, if the Jnani says, I am the body, what happens to him in death? Mercy, he does not identify himself with the body even now. Devotee, but you said just before that the Jnani says, I am the body. Mercy, yes, his I includes the body, for there cannot be anything apart from I for him. If the body falls away, there is no loss for the I. I remains the same. If the body feels dead, let it raise the question. Being inert, it cannot. I never dies and does not ask the question. Who then dies? Who asks questions? Devotee, for whom are all the Shastras then? They cannot be for the real I. They must be for the unreal I. The real one does not require them. It is strange that the unreal should have so many Shastras for him. Mercy, yes. Quite so. Death is only a thought and nothing more. He who thinks raises troubles. Let the thinker tell us what happens to him in death. The real I is silent. One should not think I am this, I am not that. To say this or that is wrong. They are also limitations. Only I am is the truth. Silence is I. If one thinks I am this, another thinks I am this, and so on, there is a clash of thoughts, and so many religions are the result. The truth remains as it is, not affected by any statements, conflicting or otherwise. Devotee, what is death? Is it not the falling away of the body? Mercy, do you not desire it in sleep? What goes wrong then? Devotee, but I know I shall wake up. Mercy, yes. Thought again. Where is the preceding thought? I shall wake up. Thoughts rule the life. Freedom from thoughts is one's true nature. Bliss. 24th September 1936, talk number 249. M. Ignorance, ajnana is of two kinds. Maharishi. Ignorance, ajnana is of two kinds. Number one, forgetfulness of the self. Two, obstruction to the knowledge of the self. Aids are meant for eradicating thoughts. These thoughts are the re-manifestations of predispositions remaining in seed form. They give rise to diversity from which all troubles arise. These aids are hearing the truth from the master, Sarvana, etc. The effects of Sarvana may be immediate and the disciple realizes the truth at once. This can happen only for the well-advanced disciple. Otherwise, the disciple feels that he is unable to realize the truth. Even after repeatedly hearing it, what is it due to? What is it due to? Impurities in his mind, ignorance, doubt, and wrong identity are the obstacles to be removed. A. To remove ignorance completely, he has to hear the truth repeatedly until his knowledge of the subject matter becomes perfect. B. To remove doubts, he must reflect on what he has heard. Ultimately, his knowledge will be free from doubts of any kind. C. To remove the wrong identity of the self with the non-self, such as the body, the senses, the mind, or the intellect, his mind must become one-pointed. All these things accomplished, the obstacles are at an end and samadhi results, that is, peace reigns. Some say that one should never cease to engage in hearing, reflection, and one-pointedness. These are not fulfilled by reading books, but only by continued practice to keep the mind withdrawn. The aspirant may be Kirtopaska or a Kirtopaska. The former is fit to realize the self. Even with the slightest stimulus, only some little doubt stands in his way. It is easily removed if he hears the truth once from the master. Immediately he gains the samadhi state. It is presumed that he had already completed sarvana, reflection, etc. in previous births. They are no more necessary for him. For the other, all these aids are necessary for him. Doubts crop up even after repeated hearing. Therefore, he must not give up aids until he gains the samadhi state. Sarvana removes the illusions of the self being one with the body, etc. Reflection makes it clear that knowledge is self. One pointedness reveals the self as being infinite and blissful. 27th September 1936, talk number 250. A certain devotee asked Maharashi about some disagreeable statements made by a certain man well known to Maharashi. He said, I permit him to do so. I have permitted him already. Let him do so even more. Let others follow suit. Only let them leave me alone. If because of these reports no one comes to me, I shall consider it a great service done to me. Moreover, if he cares to publish books containing scandals of me, and if he makes money by their sale, it is really good. Such books will sell even more quickly and in large numbers than others. Look at Miss Mayo's book. Why should he not also do it? He is doing me a very good turn. Saying so, he laughed. 29th September 1936. There was again a reference to the same subject when Maharashi was alone. The willy fire seemed to be getting into hot water on account of his inconsiderate action. When it was mentioned, Maharashi seemed to be concerned for the man's safety, and he said with obvious sympathy, even if allowed to have his own way for earning money, the man gets into trouble. If he availed himself of our indulgence and acted sensibly, he could have got on well. But what can we do? Thank you. I end the video here. Thank you for watching and listening this video with patience. Namaskar, dear friends. Thank you so much. Please share, like and comment. Next video number 15 will start with talk number 251. Thanks a lot. Namaskar.